movie lover and hello movie lovers. And tonight we're actually going to be talking rewinding time back to 2012, back when The Cabin in the Woods was released. This is not the actual release date that it came out. It came out on, as a matter of fact, it's supposed to be released out on Thursday of this year. Was the actual date that it was actually released on. But this movie is fun. I really enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, I actually had somebody else on the audio podcast at one time, and we reviewed this film. As a matter of fact, you can actually check out the audio version of my review that I did on the channel because I actually put some audio content out there. But aside from that, I had a lot of fun revisiting this movie back then. I also got a chance to just revisit some scenes and just going back into that time period. But also, too, here's a little secret. I haven't seen this movie in theaters or anything like that. I actually saw this movie when it got released on DVD. But I love the originality behind it. I love the fact that you have other small Easter eggs within this film. You also have the people in the lab basically releasing these monsters. And what I like about it is the fact that they start betting on who's going to wind up surviving, which also reminds us in terms of who we are as audience members of who's going to survive, putting bets on who's going to survive and stuff like that. But Charlie, what did you think of this film?
I didn't see this right away. Again, I don't do horror movies. I remember working this movie came out in 2012, and I remember still working at the theater when this one came out. I don't remember it. I think I watched it when it might have been when I was home for like spring break, college in 2013. I didn't watch it right away. Well, I mean, again, first time was okay. I mean, again, it was funny seeing them make fun of all the tropes of a classic horror movie. Oh, girl has sex, and what the girl blonde girl has sex, blonde girl dies, and then make fun of all the tropes of the horror movie. So if you haven't seen a horror movie, you don't really need to know anything with this one because this one practically tells you about it, and then it makes fun of itself in a sense about all the tropes of a horror movie. The virgin always survives, or the whatever, or
Right.
the jock tries to save everybody and he dies. Like, I mean, it's taking shots at itself. And I mean, like, there's parts of it are funny. I mean, I liked when the Bradley Whitworth character died from his own creation, which is another horror movie trope about the merman. Brief appearance by Sigourney Weaver, the iconic horror actress of Ripley. I mean, as her as this being that, and then, I mean, again, it's cool because it was directed by the guy that created Daredevil. But I've seen it. I saw it once, and then that was in 2013. Then I didn't watch it again until about 3 years later for my horror class, and I was like, okay, I've seen it. I don't really need to see this again. It is what it is. I think for me, it's just once is enough, and especially if it's a horror movie, once is enough.
I got
It's very rarely. I think the only horror movie that I would really watch again would be Freaky, because it for me that one just doesn't get old because it's just entertaining. I think it's got to be very rarely does a horror movie. Well, I mean,
grab you in a certain way.
Yeah, it's got to be good. Like Aliens, I've watched that. That's a horror movie, but it's not really a horror movie. And I remember I did my final paper in college on Aliens and how it's not a typical horror movie, how there's other genres that are blended in to make it not a hybrid horror movie. But sure, Aliens is scary. It's also badass. Like, I mean, you got James Cameron directing it. I mean, it's I think Aliens for me is really the threshold right now for repeat horror movies, because I watch it and I don't get, like, it's not a horror movie because it's got a great action sequences. It's intense. It's funny. They blend it in so much. This one, I've seen it. It's all right. I mean, it had some moments. Seeing Chris Hemsworth die pretty quickly was pretty funny, and seeing the iconic tropes of the horror movies of don't have sex, all that kind of stuff. Sure, that's funny, but don't need to, once you watch it, it kind of loses the effect for me a little bit.
Let me tell you something, though. I thought the same thing about this film, right? Because I thought, okay, it's one and done, one of those films that I've seen before, right? But up until I did this review, I think maybe way before I started going back on YouTube, but we went into a little bit more of a deeper level with this film. because it does have this rewatchability of rewatching it for me as a horror fan. But I can understand for someone that that's not into horror and everything. But for me and everything, here's the thing: everybody's wanting a sequel for this movie. The film, get this, the ending is basically the film being destroyed. That's basically how the movie ends, with the film being destroyed. There's also things that, for instance, nudity within the film itself, where everybody's like, oh man, they didn't show anything. Guess what? That's actually like us watching somebody in a window, and we're mad at them for not showing us what's underneath. So therefore, we're pissed off because they didn't show us what we wanted to see, because we're actually basically inviting our own selves into their own privacy. So that's another deeper level that we actually went on. Then there's the whole fact too, the girl is supposed to be this who's supposed to be a virgin, but she really isn't a virgin. She ended up sleeping with her professor, but because of the fact that she dyed her hair and everything, and they put chemicals in her hair to make her horny, to make her the way that she is. That's why the blonde-headed girl is all of a sudden transformed from being the smart one into being just the one that's sex craved. Then, of course, you wind up having the stoner guy who is supposed to be brilliantly smart, and then he just winds up going down a whole entire thing where basically his whole entire character changes, which they do that in the writing every single time when you watch a horror film, where they start off with this one character, they're not sure what they want to do with it, so therefore they change it. Mm-hmm. And so I think that there's a lot more of a deeper message within this film itself, if you want to ever go back. But I can understand if you don't, because but I feel like this movie is smart. It's original. No one even thought about doing something like this. Also, too, like I said, with them doing the betting and everything, reminds me of us in the movie theaters betting on who's gonna be the survivor, who's gonna end up, what monster's gonna come out next. And then, of course, when someone says, "Oh, who got this killer?" then it was like them talking to the audience, and then them trying to say. Then when the audience responds back with the same thing that the workers are basically saying and everything too, is like, man, this sucks. I didn't want that killer. It's the same response from the movie. So it's basically taking jabs at the audience while also taking jabs at its own self. Then there's also the whole entire deal where you actually have someone that they implanted into this whole entire scenario though too, where basically you have this weird person that's in this town saying, oh, do not go down there. Do not go down that shortcut. Of course, they're going to do it. Then there's also this whole entire thing making fun of the, basically, of Hostel, Saw, and things like that, taking jobs at Saw. Then there's also the Hills Have Eyes reference, where they're getting up to the camper and everything. And that's basically, the Evil Dead stuff. Do not speak in Latin. This movie is smart. It's understanding. It's original. It's authentic. It's something that I feel like hasn't been done before. And that's something I really appreciate for it. Number one, for a horror film to actually have rewatchability for me to watch it, it has to draw me in each time. And each time I pick up on something different. As a horror fan, as someone that loves reviewing films, this is a good movie for me. And I appreciate what they did.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I gotta give them credit. It's smart. I just think for me, to watch this is enough. I don't really need to go into a dive. And for people complaining, oh, there's got to be a sequel. Did you not see this movie? Seriously, this movie ends the way it ends. Destroyed. There's nothing.
Yeah, the cabin gets destroyed.
Sure, you can do prequel, but I don't think anybody wants to see prequel because we already know how this ends up. And then for people who's like, oh, we didn't see anything. You saw plenty. Trust me. Oh. You saw plenty in that movie.
Oh, we have somebody that commented too that I want to. It takes me a couple of watches to understand that the audience are the gods they're trying to please. Once I understood some of the references, in my opinion, it's a great, very unique. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel though too. To be honest with you, the originality, the authenticity with it was fantastic. To be honest with you, and this movie, I feel like it's also ahead of its time in a sense because we don't get that sense of originality. And some films we do, some films we don't. But basically, the reason why this movie even came out was because of the fact that the writers or the director got tired of the watered down overuse of horror films to the point where they decided to go ahead and turn it on its heel, which I thought was really good. And then, of course, like I said, if people wanting a sequel, basically the way it ends, if you actually look at it, it reminds you of a 7mm film, basically. Mm-hmm. And the way it cuts exactly like a 7mm film, showing that the film got destroyed, showing that the events and everything is now demolished. To the point where they can't do a sequel. Yeah. But would I like to see a prequel? Yeah, I would like to see a prequel of how they actually got all these monsters in here from other countries and stuff like that, on how they were actually scaring everybody. I thought that would actually be a fun concept. But would it have that same drop? Maybe not. But still, I think this movie is a very good film. I think it deserves a lot of credit for what it has.
I mean, to go on your originality point, I think lately, that A24 company, I think, or either that, I forgot, or somebody like that, or that Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to be coming out with some like original. I know, I've seen a trailer for it. I probably won't watch it. It's this movie called X. I heard it was supposed to be really good. Essentially, they're making a porno inside of a horror movie. I'm not kidding. That's literally what's going on. I think.
Yeah, I heard about that movie.
I heard
because a lot.
I was like, is it rated X? Because that'd be kind of funny. But I heard a lot of people have been really enjoying that one a lot. And it was like they're trying to film a porno in this like abandoned area, and suddenly some murderer is trying to kill them or whatever. So it's called X. I mean, if you want originality, there's one for you right there. But I think the recent horror movie, like I thought Freaky, sure, it's blames on the whole body swap, but the originality is the kills. Each kill was different, and that's not something you get in a horror movie, and that's what I really appreciated more. Sure, were the deaths graphic and over the top? Absolutely. But were some of them absolutely satisfying to watch? You bet your sweet A it was. Like, Shopkeeper going head first right in through the blades. Like, I totally deserved it, but it was so, like, that. I mean, or someone getting chainsawed. Like,
and it even makes fun of its own stuff, too, especially when you have a gay character who winds up saying, oh, great, I'm gay, you're straight, we're both going to die. Yeah. So,
I mean, yeah, again, that's what, again, Freaky, anytime, I think it's like, if you haven't seen it, we definitely recommend checking that out. We did a review for it on the page, I think, last year.
Yeah, it was last year with Cisco.
Yeah. Definitely watch it, because if you want some original, and also if you want some taking some little shots at a Supreme Court justice, then yeah, definitely watch it. And it takes you a little while to pick up what the names of the guys are, and once you do, you're like, oh my god, that's so funny. But yeah, I mean, it's clever, and that was really that. But there's not many, like, I think unless you're like Blumhouse or A24 when they're horror movies, a lot of the stuff isn't really original. You just got sequels and stuff, but
Blumhouse has a way of making stuff original, especially with hide and seek and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that when it comes down to this film, it's fantastic. Go ahead, check this out. But that's gonna do it. Do you have anything else that you want to say about Cabin in the Woods, or?
No, I think I said it all.
Okay, same here as well. So, with that being said, guys, that's gonna be it for our Movie Lovers Rewind. Like I said, this is our short segment that we do here. So I hope that you guys enjoy our Movie Lovers Rewind. I'm going to be shooting a trailer reaction to Stranger Things Season 4. That's going to drop tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Central Time, 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time for that in the morning time. But here's the thing, though. Go on ahead and don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment. All those things are important here. Also, too, click that notification bell at the bottom right-hand corner to allow you guys to know when we have something new here at Movie Lovers Night. Also, too, if you guys want to, go on ahead and head over to buyusacoffee.com/movie lovers. That's how you can donate $5 to $10 over to us. But if you guys can't, I totally understand. Just simply liking, subscribing, commenting, and also smashing that bell in the bottom right-hand corner goes tremendously for us at Movie Lovers Unite. Of course, you guys can follow us underneath the same brand name on Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite over there on Facebook, underneath the same brand name on Instagram and on Pinterest as well. If you want to get an audio-only podcast episode, you guys can get that wherever you guys get your podcast from. Then, of course, rate us on Good Pods, rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well, or wherever you guys get your major podcasts from. then, of course, follow us on TikTok at Movie Lovers Unit 0 over there, and on Twitter as well at Movie Lovers Unit. And always, until next time, guys, thank you so much. Since a nerdly, I do appreciate that so much from your comment. And always, until next time, have a good night, and bye-bye.